All new episode of Much to Do About Nothing. The show where me and Joel take our love for everything, force you to listen to it. I'm your co-host, Juwaan. Join with me as always is my co-host, Joel. What's up, Joel? Oh, I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. I fucking love Joel. All right. I want to start off with Joel. We actually just saw Uncharted today.
Yes.
We saw Uncharted today. I will reiterate. I've played the games a few times. I've not played every single one of the games. I've not beaten every single one of the games. But I've played it a few times, and I've watched all the cutscenes. Maybe not the last one. I think maybe the last one I didn't say. But I enjoy the story of Nathan Drake. I enjoy the world that it's built, and again, how drastically different it is than Tomb Raider. I know a lot of people don't think it is, but it is.
It's different. Surface level. Similar, it's similar, definitely, but it's not the same.
No, not at all. But yeah, so this movie I enjoyed a lot. Shout out to Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg and that entire team. It was really good. It was really, really, really good. I definitely would put it in the same boat as Detective Pikachu in Sonic. It's just one of those feel good. And I told you, I was thinking, I mean, clearly I'm not going to, but I was thinking about buying a PlayStation halfway through this movie, to where it was just like, yo, this looks, if the game plays anything like this movie.
Oh, the game is way better than that movie. No offense to the movie, but the game is better than the movie.
You truly did enjoy it.
I did. I actually really did. I enjoyed it a lot. I wasn't sure I was gonna like it because I they went younger, so like it was hard to like digest that at first. And even throughout the movie, he sounds so young compared to what I'm used to. And you saw the voice, spoiler, but the voice actor makes a cameo
in the actual movie. Yeah.
Movie, and then you hear what he actually sounds like. It's definitely different.
I mean, to be honest with you, I even have to kind of, because even Sully sounds younger than we know him to sound.
Right.
So it's an adjustment for both of them. But the way the Sony execs are talking, Kanan had posted this on our Twitter page. The way the Sony execs are talking, this is a franchise. They view this as a franchise. So it gives, like, by the third movie, Mark Wahlberg should add the wrinkles in. You know what I'm saying? The wrinkles in, kind of make him physically look more
by the third movie, he should have wrinkles.
I don't know, man. If there's anybody that looks like they don't age, it would be Mark Wahlberg.
He refuses to age.
He refuses to age, man. And I don't think he's sold his soul. I think the man just takes great care of himself.
He really does. He really fucking does.
But
frustratingly so.
You being someone who's actually played the game, what were some of the moments in the movie that were like, that's straight out of the game?
Oh, there was a couple moments that they ripped right from the game. And there's a lot of stuff they held on to the very end. Like I was like literally sitting there like they didn't even play the music at all in this movie. And then like the end, a couple times they start playing it, and then of course they play the music at the very end, like legit the straight music from the game. You did, like you pointed out during the movie, like he wasn't. Did we see him shoot a gun? Like throughout the movie, he really doesn't use. Not till the very end does he actually use the guns. And that's very much a big part of that.
I noticed they did. I think I think it'll change the more they go. But I think part of this was to protect the image of Tom Holland. He never shot anyone. Now, again, I'm. Let me be very clear. I'm speaking from ignorance. I haven't played the game, so if Nathan Drake's not out here shooting people, then
Nathan Drake is definitely out there shooting people.
So I'm very curious as to what. Again, this isn't me complaining about anything. It's just one of those visual things that you see, and you're like, it's like if they did the Sonic movie, right? And he didn't run as fast as possible, and it's like, well, why wouldn't you? Like, you know what I'm saying? The gun was in his hand, but he actually never shot anyone.
Well,
Um,
he did have the gun and he did try to shoot someone. They just, disarmed
right.
him basically.
I,
Um,
I
so
I think
you,
I'm asking that, Joel, because I'm like, do you think that's one of those? It's just the first movie. Who cares? Or do you think it's kind of like because Tom Holland does have an image as Spider-Man.
well,
So
then
him
it shouldn't
going
have
from
been Nathan
that
Drake.
to shooting someone,
That's just period. Nathan Drake shoots people.
right?
He's gonna have to get over that if that's the case.
I can just picture Joel now sitting through the second one, like, all right, I'm an hour in and no one's been shot by Nathan. Like, you're on the clock. Shoot
He's getting
somebody.
shot at, he's gonna shoot back. That's just how it works. That's why he has when he put on the gun, the holster. That's iconic because that's part of his look.
Right.
The strap and like it's just he always has at least one gun on him, which is like a pistol or
Yeah,
whatever.
always.
But he uses all types of guns, like off the floor, like whatever he can carry. Machine gun, shotgun. He can use all the guns, but for the most part, he usually carries a pistol or whatever. And then he has a flashlight, and then he carries it a certain way. Like you'll see it if you play the game. And he dressed like Nate. He was very smart. I love the way they utilized his brain and the way he figured things out because there's a lot of puzzles in the game as well.
Right.
So you got to sit there and go like, all right, and you got to look at your book because Nate's actually a good artist. So he draws what he sees and he puts it in the book, so as a reference to clues and shit like that. So they didn't really do that, but they do reference a lot of clues in the movie. So
One thing I definitely want to see in part 2 that I do know from the little bit of knowledge I know from the games is him struggling a bit more for like those larger puzzles. So like when he gets to like those big statues, he has to like, you know what I'm saying? Like put in different designs or some shit. Like I just really want to see how hard this is for him. Because I'm not saying the movie made it easy, but he's so fucking smart. The degree of difficulty didn't seem as high as we know it to be when you actually play the game and you're trying to figure it out.
It's only difficult for again, you're the one actually figuring out the fucking puzzle. So it's only as hard as the person playing the game.
True.
You know what I mean? So if you figure it out quick, it's because you probably picked it up quick. You know what I mean?
Right. That's fair. No, I mean, but look, I appreciate those video game moments because again, Detective Pikachu is not based off of a video game. Sonic,
technically.
what game?
There was a Detective Pikachu.
Oh wow. Was it anything like it?
I don't know. I never played it. I just know there's a game called Detective Pikachu.
Oh, okay. Because like I'll never forget the moment of Hitman when he reaches in the ice and pulls out the 2 silver ballers. Like that to me was fucking awesome. The silver ballers with the silencers on them, his signature guns. So seeing how excited you got when Nathan put on the gun thing, because it's like that's Nathan Drake. That's his look. That's
I like the fact that they played the music as he was putting it on. You're like, oh my god, it's like he's evolving like, as it was going through. Because I'm like sitting there, like, where's the music? And then now it's just so slow. Like the end, they slowly start making it part of the process. And he did a lot of like jumping around, a lot of parkour. And look, if you play those games, Nate's a fucking monkey at this point. He climbs everything. So that's basically what they had fucking Tom doing. Jumping around, running around, climbing everything.
I will say
that's very much a Nate thing.
He did so much parkour. Arrow would be very proud of him. Like very, very, very proud of him. Because Roy did parkour. Like Roy would fucking do parkour to get in a car, fucking hop over it, do 6 backflips.
And but he only does like parkour to get to in a straight line, not flipping for no reason. You know what I mean?
Right. Roy did a lot of flipping for no reason.
For no reason, right? Like he did it to get from point A to point B quicker. Another thing is the fighting in the game is a lot. Did remind me of the in the movie, very similar because of the fact that he struggled fighting. He could obviously fight, but it was like almost slapstick a little bit, where he kind of like he would get thrown here and then he would do. I did appreciate that because he's not a martial artist by any means, but he definitely can hold his own in a fight. And they definitely showed that in the movie.
Yeah, because and it's funny that you said that because I thought that the whole time that I like that it's more so defensive. than it is offensive, because that's not necessarily Nathan Drake. He's not necessarily the aggressor. If he could talk his way out of a situation, he'll talk his way out of a situation.
Really.
Fighting is usually the very, very last resort. And you know that knowing Sully, because we really only saw Sully fight in this movie at the end. He was conning and lying his way out of any situation.
Most things, yeah. Well, the time really funny when he fought the girl in the middle of it.
Like, oh, right. But I mean, I really do like that, because sometimes when they do these movie adaptations, like all of a sudden he's a very skilled fighter, and it's like, no, don't do that. He's not a brawler. He's not anything. He's one of those guys that if a fight broke out in the bar, he could defend himself. Is he the guy that's starting the bar fight? Is he the guy that's like, I could fuck everybody in here up? No. But he's very much like, well, you're not just going to beat my ass. Like, you're going to have to work for it. You know what I'm saying?
The only thing you didn't really get a lot of was the gunfights, because there's a lot of gunfighting in that game. And it kind of feels almost like, because it's all about protecting yourself and picking your shot. Right. Like almost like Gears of War, where you go from like, you protect yourself. It's like that. It's almost exactly like that when you fight with the guns and Uncharted. And they didn't do a lot of that because he didn't really do a lot of shooting until the very end. And even then, there was very little of that. So maybe that's something he gets to that. Eventually, he'll probably get to that. And like obviously, what you're used to in the games is very much the wild, like he's either in the woods or he's in the desert or he's in the fucking Alps or whatever the fuck. There was a lot of city in this. Now there was some caves and shit, and at the end you got some island shit, so that was cool. And that's what most of what you get on Uncharted is a lot of that, like random, like a crazy fucking wilderness.
Yeah, and what I think I love most, Joel, is playing Uncharted. You had to do a lot of sleuthing. So when they were in the plane and they're sleuthing around to try to get out unnoticed, I'm like, that felt very Uncharted-like. Like, did you get that feel?
Yeah, you did a lot of. You gotta hide because you don't want to get overwhelmed with enemies and shit like that. You gotta pick your battles. So that's kind of what they did, because, like I said, you can't hide in those games. The point is, you could take out a whole fucking room, but you gotta hopefully be in the right spot because they come from all over the place.
That's true. No, but Tom, you did a great job. Obviously, you'll never get to the point where I hope these movies don't go that fucking long, where you're accurately the age we know Nate to be at. But you did a really good job.
Yeah, he's 25 officially in the movie.
Right. You did a really good job in this. Mark Wahlberg did a really good job. He had some Mark Wahlberg moments, but overall, I think he'll grow into the Sully that we know. So
he was very entertaining as Sully. He really was.
That's why I'm okay with it, because he's clearly not. He's not the Sully we know yet.
Right.
So like, I'm fine growing with him in him becoming Sully. Like when you first play Uncharted, the Sully that we get in this movie would have never done any of those things to Drake.
Of course.
Right? That's what I'm saying. I can't wait to grow to that.
Yeah, because I mean, at that point, they've been together for years, in those games. This is the first time them meeting, and they don't really trust each other. You know what I mean? And that's different. That's different from the game too, because when they first meet each other, it was Sully chasing him, but he was much younger. And he kind of almost like adopts him,
right? He looked after him. Right. So look, I'm very excited to see what they do going forward. Obviously, we had 2 end credit scenes that you said kind of gave some inclination to where they might go.
One is right before the credits, and one's right after the main credits, and then the regular credits show up. So it's like the little animated credits, and then there's the credits. So there's 2, like you said, yeah. And one teases the flashback from the 4th game, which included his brother, and then the second one teases the events of the first game, where you fight. Like in the first game, this is a spoiler for people who never played the game. At the end of the game, there's like fucking zombie Nazis. Just saying. Good luck fighting those motherfuckers. They're pissed. There's a supernatural element to Uncharted that you wouldn't know by looking at it, but yeah, towards the end of those games, there's always some crazy shit that happens. You're like, oh, where did they come from? Like, Like there's like fucking Yetis in the second one. I'm like, okay, this is getting weird.
Into the comparison that we made of Tomb Raider. It's very Tomb Raider. But overall, what would you give it?
Well, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of like rating things. Did I like it? Yes. Out of 10, guess I had enough fun with it to give it an 8 or 7 around there.
Okay, I'm gonna go 8.5. It's someone who hasn't, like I said, who hasn't really played all of them to completion, but I've played enough to kind of know the world. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, I had no nitpicks. I had no big problems. It just flowed well. It was a really good movie.
It was a fun time at the theater. Yes, for sure.
All right. All right. So that's Uncharted. Next up, we're gonna talk All-Star Game, Joel.
Sure.
We had the All-Star Game. We don't have to talk Saturday night. We don't have to talk Saturday night.
That was more fun. Like,
really?
Yeah, I'm over the All-Star Game at this point. They do everything in the way I don't like it. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't like fucking team this versus team that. I hate that so much. And if you don't really know how I feel about voting.
See, I feel like you hate it because that's the history of the game. The reason why I like it is because, to me, if you're making me play games I'm not getting paid for, right? I would like it to be more fun, where it's like I'm just playing with my friends. So like it's like Playground. I can go pick my friends that I want to play with. You pick your friends, and then we play against each other.
Yeah, well, as a fan of the sport, I don't give a fuck who your friend is. I want to see East versus West.
I mean, like I said, but that's a historic thing. That's what I'm trying to say. If it wasn't like that to begin with, then it wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. But to me, I've always just viewed the All-Star Game just like a pickup, like a scrimmage.
That's all it is. It's a fun pickup game. Like I don't know.
So all I'm saying is I would have hated it if my gym teacher was like, "All right, that's your team there, and then that's your team there. Go play with them." Like I don't fucking know.
Those are your conferences. That's you rep those conferences. I like that. That's how it is for me.
Man.
I don't like the idea of a team LeBron and a team Durant. You guys are not more superior than the rest of those other guys. Book that. It's bullshit.
You're passionate about that, Joe.
I don't like it. Don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we see it differently, but I don't think we disagree on the idea of it's clearly not played the way that it was played maybe even 5 years ago.
I don't mind the whole fucking playing almost start over every quarter thing. I like that. It's pretty cool. I just don't like the way the teams are selected.
So you just want East and West again?
Yeah, I want East and West back the way it used to be. I mean, that's how you fucking select them. Then that's your team.
So then let's say do East and West, but I can still select who's on my team.
Excuse me?
If I do East and West, right? But instead of fan voting, I get to choose who's on my team from each conference. Huh?
Who is
team captain?
No, I don't like team captains. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I like East versus West.
But they had East versus West, and they still had captains, didn't they?
That's what they do now. It's East, West, and then the captains pick their teams. I don't like the team captains. East versus West is what I like.
Well, then, if that's the case, then fucking get rid of fan voting altogether.
That's part of it. There's fan voting, and then the media gets a vote, and then the coaches get a vote, or the players get a vote.
But that's my point. That's the whole captain thing is to be fan incentivized. That's what I'm trying to say. Because when you were saying how is LeBron better than DeRozan as far as getting to be captain? That's all fan voting.
Yeah, but that you could do that if it's just East West. You don't got to worry about that. It's just fun to have the most votes. It doesn't matter. They're not the captain.
What the fuck does it equate for then? Take that away.
It never equated to shit until recently.
That's what. So okay, so then I'm with you. Then take that. If what you're saying is you want to go back to what it was,
yeah.
I'd rather go all the way back to what it was.
I like it. I don't even like all-star jerseys. Let them wear their jerseys. I prefer that.
I am with you on that. I am with you on that. One thing though that I do want them to get back to, fuck, I just completely lost my train of thought. I'm with you though on not doing getting original jerseys back because I was always a fan of that. I am with you because the main reason why I want fan voting taken away is, and I was telling my dad this yesterday. I remember that year where it was in Atlanta and half the fucking Hawks made the All-Star game. I'll never forget that stupid ass shit. That should never, ever, ever, ever happen again. Because it's like, what the fuck? You're telling me there were no other better players than Kyle Korver that year?
Well, it's not just, but back in the day, it was just the fans. That's why it's now the fans, the media, and the players. Though sometimes they have questionable decisions too. Like, what do you guys? You guys don't take it seriously at all.
They end up just fucking picking who they want to play with. That's all it comes down to. That's really all it comes down to. That's why I said, if that's what they're gonna do now, I'm fine with that. Because look, Draymond was an advocate to get DeJounte Murray on the All-Star team. I really think, obviously Draymond is injured, but I think even if he wasn't, he would have found a way to get DeJounte Murray on that team. So I like that because when you let fans vote, they're gonna vote for who the most popular people. It's a popularity contest.
Yes, that's what.
If you live in Chicago, you have no idea who the fuck DeJounte Murray is. So that's why I'm like, sometimes letting the players pick is great because they love some of these young guys, so they're gonna pick Garland and these young and up and coming guys. So that's why sometimes I'm like, it's better if the players do it because they know it. They know they play with these guys. Well, yeah, if you do something like what the Hawks did, then I'm with you. Then yeah, that's like bullshit. But LeBron and KD, when they were picking, they were just gushing over all these young guys, and I'm like, I love that. They weren't going just a typical, oh, give me CP3 and give me, like, no, it was more so like these next up and coming guys. I want these guys on my team. Durant was lobbying for Garland. He wanted Garland. That's why LeBron took him from him. So I'm like, I appreciate that. Just that they have an eye for talent outside of just the big.
They're gonna get looked at in the All-Star game. They've already been chosen. So it doesn't matter which captain picks which player. They're already in the All-Star game. They're gonna get viewed. You know what I mean? So for me, it's just, I don't care. My how it's voted on is fine with me. It's whatever. It's better than it was. My only issue with the voting is the fact that they leave out centers as an option, where there's a possibility to literally have three small forwards on the court at the same time, and that's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
He was saying that he was proud of this year because they went back to big men.
They did, but that's not because they chose the big man. It wasn't the fact that there was limited to like this. You have to pick a big man. You didn't have to pick a big man. It just so happens that two of the best players in the league are big men.
3.
I'm just saying of the 2 that they're talking about.
Oh, well, no, I think he meant what's his name too. But look, that comes down to just we need more big men. We just need more big men.
They just gotta vote them in. They need to be isolated.
There's 5 legit big men that you could just off the top of your head. You go Jokic, Embiid, Towns, Ayton, and I guess Rudy Gobert to a degree.
Gobert's fine.
Outside of that, it's like there's no other big name big men. We just need
a big man. Yes, he is.
Not if Durant's not.
Durant's more of a perimeter player.
Huh?
I don't consider you a big man if you can play small forward. Kevin Durant can play small forward, so I don't consider him a big man.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what they classify Giannis as.
He ain't a small forward. You can't shoot. You can't play small forward. You can't shoot. That's like illegal. That should be not even.
That's not illegal. That's not illegal. But he can shoot. It's just not. It's not his go-to. He can shoot.
He's not a wing. He's more of a big these days. Period. He really is.
He prefers down low. But until they switch that shit.
No,
until they officially.
He would be categorized to me as a big. There's a lot of guys like to me. They're absurd. What?
I say he was even selected as a wing.
No, again, they're all forwards. There's no such thing as center in that list. So all the centers, power forwards, and small forwards are all the same fucking position, and that's my issue.
They put Embiid as a 4?
Yes, it doesn't matter. There is no one position. They're all forwards, not forwards. Forwards.
Yeah, no, that's
stupid.
That's part of the evolving of it because he can stretch.
That's not evolving. That's working backwards.
Stretch it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's not a forward though. He's a big man. He's a man in the middle. That position still exists. What team plays with no center? Zero, and that's why that's stupid.
Well, only a handful of teams actually play back to the basket, like center
It doesn't
mentality.
fucking matter. Center can shoot nowadays. It's an evolved form. It's still a center.
That's what I'm saying. That's
a
why
big man's still a big man. You still need a man in the middle who protects the paint, rebounds the basketball. That's what they do.
I don't disagree.
If you say otherwise, I think you're stupid. I think, look at me. If you think otherwise, I think you're stupid.
I don't disagree, but I'm only going by what they're classifying. That's all I can.
And that's what my argument is. Their classifications are fucking stupid.
Every time the game evolves, this is what they do. They do shit like this, man.
This has been like this since like 2011. I'm still bitching.
Yeah, because the game evolved. Dirk helped evolve that shit, man. Because you look at Dirk and you go, well, you're clearly a power forward, but like,
so he can shoot. Just because you can shoot does not make you a big man. You understand?
That's what they evolved it into.
Why do you automatically not a big man because you can shoot? I think it's stupid.
Because I think to the NBA, it's big man is wanting to be in the post, and guys today don't really want that. That's why I said Jokic and B.
Some guys do
are rare. Towns rare, like. And they would prefer to shoot it more than actually backing down in the post.
But again, that doesn't always matter. Because look, Mehmet Okur was a center. He was a big man to me. That motherfucker could shoot. And that's really what his job was. He wasn't really there to even rebound. That was more because Boozer was in the middle, right? He was still a center. You know what I mean? He was a center.
Yeah. I mean, look, Rudy Gobert is still holding it down, but there was a time only maybe about 13, 14, 15 years ago where this wasn't an issue at all because we just had so many just traditional bigs. And it just
what happened was there was a year or two where there was not that many bigs. So like the center position was like shriveled. Like what the fuck happened to them? They were gone. And I think that's the problem too. Center position became only guys that played center. But big man is not always a center. A big man could be a power forward. So that could be one of the two positions. So you can play two big. It's very rare, but you can play two big men at the same time. You know what I mean? That's how it used to be.
They move around so much, and now more so than really ever, they're defining it differently because they can move so many positions.
And that's why I call it a big man. I don't call it center. That's right. Like everything aside. Like literally, look, there's only really three positions in basketball. There's the ball handler, the three wings, and the big man. Period.
Nope. Now they see it as stretch threes, stretch fours, anything.
Which are just wings. They're just wings. That's all they are. Wings.
Yeah, well, look, we'll see what the game turns into 5-10 years from now. If it goes backwards, because we know that history always repeats itself, or if it'll find a newer way to try to evolve, to try to acquiesce to not calling something. But
it takes them forever to like realize shit too.
We'll see, because like I said, that's again, I get what you're saying about Giannis, but until they fix that shit, he's a small forward.
He's not. Oh my god! In what world is he a small forward? When's the last time he played small forward?
That he played small forward?
Yes.
Bobby Portis plays the 5. He plays the 4.
He is the 4. He's the 4. He's only the 4 for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, but also just because that's what you play on your team doesn't mean that that's your designated position. You could play multiple positions. That's their preferred lineup. There was a time where Draymond was a 5. They would play the death lineup.
Death lineup, he can play 5. Yes, he can.
But he's not a 5.
Is he a 5? No, he's not. He's a 4.
But that's my point.
But I would consider Draymond a big because of that. He can play multiple positions.
He can stretch it, but what you're saying is exactly what I was saying before. Because Draymond can do that, you would classify him as a 5.
No, and I don't. I classify you as what you play the most of, which is your natural position.
That's fair.
The 4. Those are 4. They're both 4s. You play with the majority of your time at that position. Giannis was a small forward coming into the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just haven't updated their fucking
4 or 5 years. Is when he came.
He's not 3 anymore.
Came a 4. Is when he started.
In the moment, can he play the 3? Yeah, but he's still the biggest fucking guy on the court most of the time. So he's usually a 4 or 5.
That's fair.
Really?
All right.
I don't think it's hard to understand.
Again, I understand you. I just said until they fix it, that's what I classify it as. Till they fix it, that's what I classify it as. That's all I'm saying. I didn't say you were wrong. I just said till they
no,
fix
you are saying, you're saying they're right and I'm wrong. That's what you're saying.
No, till they fix it by putting him as a pure power forward.
You can fix it. He can play point guard in your fucking league.
Is that what you're playing? You can play. I mean, that's what LeBron is. He's a point guard every night. He just doesn't play
realistically, he is.
He doesn't play the actual position.
He basically does, but he's classified as a small forward and a.
I mean, we even call him a point forward. We even call him a point.
That's more or less. That's technically what he really is, point forward. But again, that's not a real. It's not a real position.
You can't be a shooter.
He's technically a hybrid wing forward. Wing point guard. So it's like,
but that's why
very rare a commodity.
The biggest thing for LeBron for the longest time was that he wasn't a great shooter. That's something he developed a lot, especially going into Miami. But that's why he was a small forward, and then they played a lot of Bosh at the 5, LeBron at the 4 in Miami.
Again, that's that evolving. Bosh to me would be considered a big man because he's the 4-5. You know what I mean?
But someone could tell you, if you go back to Toronto Bosh, there's not much of a difference between how Bosh's game was in Toronto.
I still think Toronto Bosh was the big two.
Really, because he shot a lot. He could shoot.
Oh, it doesn't matter. You see, you're saying bigs can't shoot. I'm saying yes, they can. That's the only difference right now.
You were saying Giannis couldn't be a three because he can't shoot.
I don't think he's better. I don't think he's best utilized as a 3 because he's so big.
That's different. Okay, that's different.
I'm not saying he shouldn't be because he can't shoot. And why is he on the wing? Is basically what I'm trying to say. He's too big. Put him where he's more effective. He's not effective out there.
Oh man,
I don't consider Bosh a wing because of now he could play the bigger wing or a big position, but he's not a normal shooting guard, small forward, or even he's more of a stretch forward, right? That's what Bosh traditionally is, or stretch 5.
I never heard that for him until Miami. That phrase.
That's all he was for Toronto. It was a stretch forward.
They considered him excuse me, because he never played 5 in Toronto. He was only either a 4 or sometimes as a 3.
Because he was so very thin.
Right, exactly, right. It wasn't until he got to Miami and they didn't need a post player, and he could just sit out on the corner where they're like, "Oh, you're a stretch 4 that sometimes plays the 5."
Or stretch 5.
But that wasn't he wasn't utilized that way.
It's like the death lineup where you put Draymond because he could defend certain big men. At the 5, now you wouldn't normally because he's so small. You're not sound with your traditional lineup. You don't really want him there, but he has the ability to guard centers. So you did that,
right?
You know, almost like what they loved using PJ Tucker at center. No, PJ Tucker should not be playing center, but because he can guard some of them.
I will say if I'm going to use PJ Tucker at the 5, that's only games where I'm playing Jokic, Cat. Embiid, guys like that. If I'm playing Gobert, that's just he's just a rebounder, right? Gobert is just gonna destroy him all night, right? But if you're talking about somebody, right? If you're talking about somebody that can expand their game and now they can shoot like Cat, like Embiid, like you want someone like a Draymond
that's situational, and you want someone strong because obviously if they do fit you in the paint,
right? You don't necessarily need length, is what I'm saying. You just need
length helps a lot. You
just want to.
You mean height and length? Length in terms of arm length, it definitely helps if you're short.
Right, because I mean, if I'm being completely honest, if I have JaVale McGee on my team, and Embiid is going off, and I have an opportunity to put Draymond on Embiid instead of JaVale McGee, I would do that every fucking day of the week. Because he's just a better defender. He's scrappier. JaVale could just do this all game, right? But this could get Embiid on the foul line 8 times, right?
Yeah, it's easy.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, I get you. You're absolutely right. It's situational basketball. But that's why I said, because again, these weren't problems we had, Joel, 10, 15 years ago, where it was just like, oh, this is a specific lineup for situational basketball, that now we can classify guys based off of situational basketball. This is something so new and fresh that it's like, God damn, like, make up your mind. Is he a 4? Is he a 5? Simple. Just put him as a 4 or a 5.
It's that, but some guys are just easily classified as a combo, like 4-5 or 2-3 or 3 or 2-3-4, something like that. Some guys you'll play, like there's some wings that literally can play all 3 of those positions based on just need. You know what I mean? Like I have no one else to put as a 4. Just go ahead.
So here, come here. You do it. You do this
time.
I don't know.
Look at the fucking, I think the Jazz are a great example of a team that they don't play a traditional power forward. They play Royce O'Neal, who's more of a wing. He's their power forward, but he's like 6'6". He's not really that strong. He's just athletic. He's smart, good defender. You know, he's not a traditional power forward. I wouldn't consider him a traditional power forward. You know what I mean? But he plays the 4 spot in that lineup, and he's their starter. You know what I mean? I could give you a whole bunch of examples of hybrids and weird lineups because they just don't have a traditional player in that spot. That's why for me it is best broken down as ball handler, wing, and big man, because like this just right now it's hard to define one player as one thing. And like even though I'm a bit of an advocate of like I don't believe there's a thing as positionless basketball, because obviously everybody has a position that they play and certain guys definitely can't play other positions. So I think what they mean is your height doesn't matter anymore based on position.
Like that's exactly what they mean. But I think to a degree, it's also the idea of the game is starting to turn into that, like you said, guys can just play multiple positions. Right. So the more that the league expands in the sense of, well, I got a 1 that could defend 1, 2, and 3. It's now like, well, fuck, if you have a bunch of that in the league and you have a bunch of 5s that can guard 4, 3, and 2, it starts to become, well, now I can move him anywhere, and he can shoot. I can move this motherfucker anywhere.
A 5 that can guard 2 or 3, it's very rare.
Right, so it's
like some 5s that can't guard 5s that can shoot.
Right, so it's like once you start getting a lot of that, it then does become, well, now the position doesn't matter because I can move him literally anywhere on the chessboard. But we're not there yet. We're not there.
And I don't think you ever will.
We're in a league where it's position.
I don't believe in positionless basketball. I don't like the way it sounds. I just don't believe it. And look, I think defensively that makes sense. There are some teams that can play positionlessly defensively. I think offensively is different.
I mean, look, no one's won a title that way so far. So you're right until they do. When they do, then that's a different conversation. Because then you can say,
I'm not having no 6'6" centers.
They won a fucking championship that way, but they haven't. So you're right. Until they do, it's impossible.
I actually got the opposite recently with Giannis winning it. So I'm like, tell me wrong. I mean, it's a big man, and a good one at that. So I don't want to hear no bullshit like that.
All right. So at the All-Star game, we had, by the way, I do love that they changed the name of the award to the Kobe Bryant Award. I know a lot of people were lobbying for them to do that for the finals, but no way you tell Bill Russell to go fuck himself, right? Like, no way you tell him, like, hey, do you mind being
Maybe Juwaan will say it, but not no other sane person would.
Would you mind being the All-Star game trophy guy, not the finals? No. Some legacies I think are just best left alone. I don't think Jerry West should be disturbed as the logo. I don't think Bill Russell should be disturbed as the finals award. It's fine, man. Leave it as it is. Kobe being the All-Star, that's perfect. Kobe would shine at All-Star games.
Yeah, he did.
So I know he's looking down like, okay, I like it. But we did get our top 75 players. It was a 75-year anniversary. It was crazy to see all the legends together with these young guys. Because it's like 25 years from now, when me and you are watching the next All-Star game, right? And they doing that 25, 30 years or whatever, they do another one of these. To see LeBron with gray hair, to see Durant with gray hair, to see Melo with gray hair, Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade.
I hope I don't see LeBron with hair at all. He got to cut it.
Who knows? Because if he's not letting it go,
you mean facial hair? You mean white facial hair? Is what you mean?
Until that motherfucker's bald, I mean gray everything. But no, it's just great.
Fake then. We know it's not. We know it's a lie.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I mean, look, there are 3 players that are clearly losing their hair and they won't let it go. Durant, LeBron, and Trae Young. 100%. Trae Young just gets it because
Trae Young, I think.
But if you look right here, Joel, right here where you put a crown, it's a bald
I think he has
right there.
I think he has an issue though. I think that's what happened.
Oh, well then I apologize. I don't mean to make fun of that at all. I apologize.
I don't think it's bald. Yeah, I think he has some type of.
I mean, who knows? I don't know. I ain't never seen his daddy. Is his daddy bald? Maybe
No.
baldness is a thing.
Like I think like you can't tell. I know who 2 guys that had bald spots that used to bother the shit. I'm like, just cut it. It's so bad from this angle, which was Manu, which he eventually did. And same thing with
But wait, to be fair, at least Manu had hair going around the bald spot. So it wasn't like Manu.
That's why it was so noticeable. Well, that's the problem is that he had a ring. It looked like he was wearing a yarmulke. It was weird. And he had that issue, and so did Jonas Ilgauskas.
Oh man, no, Ilgauskas was worse because he was bald going down here, and it was only hair here, and it was like, bro, you gotta just let it.
You gotta cut it. You know who has a bald spot too? Fournier has a bald spot. Fournier's got a.
Fournier does, but shout out to New York because his barber keeps it a low fade.
He does.
It looks low.
It's not that bad. Yeah, it doesn't look that bad.
Right. New York, man, I'm telling you, that's the place, man. New York. No, so me and Joel thought we would do 5 and 5 of our top 75 players. We're just gonna go 1 for 1, so we each get to 5. My first one's gonna be, as you know from before, is Giannis.
Okay.
I'm putting Giannis up. Who are you putting up?
My 5.
Just one verse 1.
All right. So my top favorite 5 players of the South. My personal favorite, you said.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So I will say, as of right now, I'll start with Carmelo.
Okay. Bitch. You know how much I love Carmelo.
You went Giannis right away.
Because I thought you would go like LeBron. I didn't know you would go right for Melo. I thought you would go
favorites. My top favorites. I don't think he's on my
of the 75 of that 75.
I don't think he's on my top 5. No. My personal favorite players. No.
Wow. You know what? Then I'm gonna give a big fuck you. I'm gonna go Michael Jordan is number 2.
Oh, you're a bitch.
Yeah. Go ahead and pick LeBron, bitch.
He's not on my top 5. We'll see. I'll go through my 4 before I get to LeBron.
Damn. Okay.
So who did I pick already?
You picked Melo. You've only done 1 so far.
Right. So Melo. I'm gonna go AI next.
Oh, perfect. My number 3 is Stephen Curry.
Cool, it's fine.
My number 3.
AI. These are my personal favorites, right?
Right.
So who else? Damn, I had it. Yeah, Jordan was on there, you dick. Mm-hmm. Oh, Charles Barkley.
Okay, so that's your 3. My 4 is Shaquille O'Neal.
Cool. Patrick Ewing.
So that's your 4.
4.
Okay. My 5th has to be, and this is I didn't want to do 10 and just go super long, so 5 is fine.
Oh, 5. I gotta figure out my new 5, motherfucker.
No. We're not doing 10. I'm saying 10 would be too long. So 5.
No, I'm saying like I gotta pick one though, because you took Jordan.
Oh, got you. My 5th is fucking idiot, Juwaan, Kevin Durant.
Definitely not. Let's see, Jason Kidd.
Number 5. Do I have a fucking point? Oh, Stephen Curry. Did I have a point guard? I didn't think I had a point guard. Steph Curry. So it'd be Steph Curry at the 1.
You said, I just picked my favorite 5 players.
Right. No. That's fine. But I'm saying that would be your starting 5. That'd be your starting 5. But luckily, we both picked people that can play different positions. So I put Steph at the 1, Jordan at the 2, Durant at the 3, Giannis at the 4, and Shaq at the 5. Yeah. I like that. And you would go Kidd at the 1. Who's your shooting guard?
Iverson.
Oh, Iverson, Melo. Are you putting him at the 4?
No, Melo, Chuck, and Patrick.
And Patrick. Okay. Fuck, those are two dangerous ass teams right there. God damn.
And two of them were actually played on the same team before. Iverson, Melo.
Oh, Denver Nuggets. So,
Yeah.
so fucking long.
That was
Like,
the first, there were like 2
what are
seasons.
you talking about? Okay, yeah, all right, I got you. So I'm like, I don't know what the fuck Joel is talking about, but no, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I like our teams. I think our teams could go up against anybody.
I didn't even know it was teams. It's just you said pick my favorite 5.
No. I'm being extra now, but yeah, it was just to pick your 5, but still, both of our starting 5s could fuck up anybody in the world. All right, let's move on. We got trying to think. Oh, Peacemaker season finale.
Peacemaker.
I very much enjoyed it.
Me
I like that we got the cameo that we got. Spoiler alert for you people out there. I like that we got the scene that we got. Me and you talked about this off air a few weeks ago. And I like that they showed up after Peacemaker saved the day. So it didn't take away from Peacemaker.
Right.
Excuse me. It gave him his shine because it is his show. Excuse me. And it still gave you a really dope ass cameo. So I thought that was awesome. What were your thoughts on the finale of Peacemaker?
I loved it. It was very entertaining. You know what I mean? Like, I loved the whole battle sequence when they first got in. A little bit after it starts, when they first go into the territory to beat some ass.
Right.
And he fucks them up with the Peacemaker shield. I didn't think we'd see the Peacemaker shield, so that was cool. We finally got to see Vigilante with the sword use his thing.
I think they heard us show up. I swear, I think they hear us every time we say stuff, because we legit said last week, I don't think he's ever used a sword. Like, I don't think I remember ever seeing him use the sword. And then they were just like, well, guess what? You're getting nothing but the sword. And that's
Absolutely. I mean, it was fun. Sorry. And the one they shot him and he just threw the knife while as he was falling down. Vigilante. Nice shot, man. That was fun. That was cool. Out of Biles, the human torpedo.
Right. Well, first of all, let's go back to I mean, everyone called it, so I'm not gonna make it like, oh, just us, but she's fucking a great marksman.
She's good. Yeah, she's a good shot. She's a badass.
Someone who said, I've never shot a gun before. What? What's this thing in my hand?
I never killed anyone before.
Right.
Well, you've killed a lot of butterflies today.
A lot of them.
Did her damage.
She even grabbed a butterfly mid-swallow.
She did.
Gotcha, bitch. Come here. So I thought that was pretty dope. Even though I have to imagine that's the most impossible shot ever. I had to really suspend my belief in that. What? To hold a butterfly like this and shoot that motherfucker in the face, like that's like that has to be an almost impossible shot to have. Yeah. But clearly that's not the most suspending belief to have in that show. But still, I looked at that and was just like, all right. You could have stepped on it, but okay.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect. I mean, knowing what we knew going into the episode, I didn't really know what exactly to expect. And then we knew the cow, the creature. As soon as she went through that motherfucker, I was like, oh, well, that's it. That was nasty, but yeah, yuck. So they killed it pretty damn quickly. Interesting plan to use the helmet to blow the fucking shit up from inside. That was clever. Did like that. There was an emotional moment with Economos. That was pretty interesting to know why he dyes his beard and shit.
Hold on. By the way, the only moment in this episode I called true bullshit on was when he first fell over the gate.
Yes.
Snapped his leg.
He got there fucking fast after that.
No, not only that, but the very next shot, you see him stand on that leg to get up. If it's broken that way, there's no way you could do that.
I don't think it was broken.
Any pressure on
was it broken?
No, because his bone was showing.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, his leg had split open. That shit was
nasty. I'm like, oh god.
But
all he did was trip. I'm like, was it that serious?
I do love that Economos is that clumsy that he could bust open his leg.
But the fact that he got to them fairly quickly. I think that means he dragged his ass over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
Shout out to Diebeard.
Diebeard is funny. But yeah, that whole scene was awesome. And then John got crushed under all the fucking shit coming down, and I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. How that's gonna like how what she's screwed basically under all that, but
Yeah.
Adebayo went in there, and you thought she was gonna save him, and it ended up being fucking butterfly.
Right.
Oh fuck, he's still alive.
Joe's like, damn, you're still here. Okay.
Yeah, like beat his ass a little bit. They argued, and he made his decision at the end. Even though they had a connection, he still decided. And they look, their mission was very similar to his mission coming into the, the one that we know of him.
Just preserve peace by any
Right, no
means.
matter what, exactly. And that's exactly what they were kind of doing, even though they were doing it basically by force. They're forcing their narrative on, like, we're gonna force you to survive.
But I like what she said. I like what she said though. She said, like, we came here and we realized you guys are just as fucked up as what we left. Right. So it was like, so that's why they didn't feel bad like consuming them, because they're like, well, humanity is horrible. So like, we can't be any worse consuming you than you are on your own free will. You know what I'm saying? So like, I really appreciate that, because I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. Like you look at America, or not America, but the world really. And you're just like, oh, you guys are horrible. Holy shit. You just kill just to kill. All right, yeah, I'll fit right in here. So I appreciated that. And I appreciated like even seeing Peacemaker cry. Because I think that was the moment he realized, I think that was the moment what Rick said to him truly sunk in. Of Peacemaker and everything he stood for was a joke. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what the world looks like when you do what you do. Just endless and mindless killing for reasons you sometimes don't even know why. You just justify it. So it was in that moment where he became, I guess, a hero. Is I guess what they're trying to make
at least more of a hero at the very least.
Because I'm like,
the whole series, it seemed like they were making him more of a hero, right?
Right.
Because he's more of an anti-hero at this point, even though he thought himself as a hero.
Right.
Realistically, he really wasn't. Right. So for us to take him at his word, like he became more sympathetic. We agreed with him more. He definitely was thinking more in terms of like, why am I doing this? He's questioning it, not just doing things just to do things. The following orders, like right. And he became a more complex character, and he proved that at the end of the day, he ended up being the hero he always thought he was. Right. At the end of the day, I think that's really something different too.
What'd you think of the League showing up?
Well, like we were talking about the other day. We knew of possibly a cameo. I did not expect all of them like to show up. So, but really, even though it was only 4 of them, that's 3 more than I was expecting to show up. So I don't know. A lot of people are complaining, but like I didn't even expect anybody to show up. So to complain that some people were missing, I'm like, just be happy that 4 of them showed up.
But see, that's what me and you have been saying, and we're not going to rehash on anything, but that's what me and you have been saying all year so far, is like, bro, how do you get good shit and just find a way to still complain? Like, did you like seeing Momoa in Flash? I did. Well, then that's it. You don't need to elaborate anymore. That's it. Simple. Done. You know? Because I'm like, all right, bro, they had Superman and Wonder Woman there and just blacked out their faces. So I'm like, okay, they'd say you get your wish. Batman's there, Cyborg's there, but they blurred out their faces and only show Aquaman and Flash. I'm like, how does that make it any better? It's essentially they're not there. So I'm like, I don't understand.
They were gonna black their faces out anyway.
Right? Yeah. Oh God, I don't get it. Sometimes the shit people complain about, like, bro, what?
It's absolutely right. They would have complained about that too. It would have
been. And you know what's funny? If James Gunn didn't have the Justice League in it at all, they would have said, "Oh, that's so unbelievable. Waller couldn't call the Justice League to come help him out."
They would have complained about that.
They would have complained about that. So it's like, bro, it gets tiring. Like, because I swear geekdom, which was so sacred before, has become like spoiled brats. And we were never that before Iron Man. We were never that. Anything we got, it was just like, yes, please, thank you, ma'am, thank you, sir. Anything we got. And then the MCU happened, and they were just like, well, I want it all. All, bitch. You know, there was a time where none of this existed. Like, I don't understand. None of this existed before. Why aren't you happy we get any of this?
Absolutely. Sorry. Whew. I didn't sleep enough today.
Well, what's Mad Hatter's name? Batman.
Mad Hatter.
Can't fucking think of his name.
It's damn it. Oh, I don't remember. It's really bothering me because I do know it.
Jamie did a Batman trivia that she failed, and she was saying one of the questions was, what's Mad Hatter's real name? And it's like, okay, well, that's a tough question. Because who gives a shit about Mad Hatter? I don't think
if you're a fan, you should know. It's
I mean, yeah. I don't know. Like, Mad Hatter's not like one of the crucial core villains of Batman. He's like one of those ancillary villains. So it's like, okay, you know it.
I would consider him B at least. It was a multiple choice or just?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't investigate any further. First of all, when she told me that she failed the Batman trivia, I said, you disappointed me. I didn't know that question.
How many did she get wrong?
I'm not going to do that to Jamie on here. But failing it alone is enough to disappoint me.
Now it's bothering me. Now I got to fucking... It's the Mad Hatter. When you keep talking, I'm just...
No, because I'm trying to think, because remember, we just got him. But that was wasn't the real
Mad Hatter. That wasn't the real one, yeah.
Right. But we had him in Gotham. But like, who the fuck remembers his name?
I do know his name. Like, if I hear it, I'm gonna kick myself.
Fuck.
Damn, man.
Goodness gracious. Now this is completely bothering us. Now we got to do a pause on Much to Do About Nothing.
Yeah, right.
Figure out Mad Hatter's name.
Don't give it to me. Give me a hint. See if I can give it a hint. Damn it. What is his name?
It kind of sounds like Stark's AI.
Jervis Tetch. Motherfucker, man.
Yep. But like I said, if someone claims themselves to be a true Batman fan and doesn't know that, I wouldn't judge him by that. I wouldn't judge him by that at all.
You should at least recognize it if you could point it out.
Well, to me, I would slam a Batman fan if someone showed you a picture of Mad Hatter and you didn't know his name was Mad Hatter. That is something I would criticize you for. But not knowing his real name, like, no, I don't think that makes you any less of a Batman fan. The fuck? I find myself to be a pretty big Batman fan. I didn't fucking know his name off the top of my head.
But you recognized it when you saw it.
Yes, as soon as I saw it. I said, oh, okay. And I'm going to be honest with you. I only know that because of Gotham. I don't remember that many Mad Hatter comics.
Well, I remember the cartoon. I remember a lot of Mad Hatter episodes.
Oh, yeah, in the cartoon. But I don't remember them saying did they say his real name in that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. No,
sure, I guess. Yeah, she kidnapped that one girl that worked with Alice.
Don't remember.
She didn't call him Mad Hatter. She called him Jerk.
Oh, fuck. Well, there you go.
Actually, one of the episodes I'll never forget is the episode with the Mad Hatter where he kidnaps Batman, and he's like in this like dream state. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I learned in that episode is that he can't read books in your dreams. And he opened the book, it's all scribbled. We can't read it. That's where I learned that. I'm like, that's interesting. I had no idea.
I had no idea. To bring it back to Peacemaker, thoroughly enjoyed it. Can't wait for season 2. I love that Amanda Waller got outed. Now that her getting outed lets me know 100% unequivocally any Suicide Squad movies that get made going forward will be by James Gunn. Because if I'm a director, like if I'm, let's say James Gunn doesn't direct the next Suicide Squad, I'd be mad as hell. I have to figure out how I'm gonna right the ship of this, right? Like, that's a weird ass thing to do this early on of the Suicide Squad. It's already been outed. Like, what? That's weird. That's so weird. It's so, as far as us, it's so new. And you've already like, all right, it exists. Either the government will keep it or it'll just like, what? That's weird. So that's why I'm like,
that is not true. This is false.
but see, that's why I was very confident when it happened. I didn't think much of it because I'm like, well, if James Gunn did this, he did this knowing he'd be the one to have to pick up the
He has a plan.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Right. And he's going to enact that plan rather than passing it on to someone else.
You mean like Star Wars?
Like what?
Like Star Wars, where like, all right, I started, you pass the baton, and you figure out.
Goodness gracious! No, I will. You know how strongly, not strongly, but you know how positively I always speak about Kathleen Kennedy. But the fact that you never sat down with the directors to form one cohesive plan will always be the biggest head scratcher. What was your plan heading into this? Just like, hey, make a movie. Well, do you want it to connect to that? Yeah, I guess. What? Like, I don't understand. That's so weird. I guess. I mean, if you want to, sure. I guess. It's a GIF.
So what?
No, they're saying I sent them. Jamie was asking me what took so long to answer it, and I'm like, well, I'm podcasting. And she's like, yeah, right. How do I know? Because I sent her like the photo of us podcast. She's like, how do I know that's not old? Well, I sent it as a GIF. I don't just randomly have photos of me and Joel podcasting.
First of all, it's a GIF.
It's a GIF.
No GIF.
It's a GIF like Jiffy Lube. No one's ever said Jiffy Lube.
What? It's called a GIF. It's a graphical. Graphic is the G. Stands for graphic. It's
graphic. I'm a graphic art designer.
G is graphic.
I'll never let you win this, Joel. You're right, but I'll never let you win. Anyway. All right, let's move on. Peacemaker was great. Season 2 has been confirmed. We knew it would be. The show was getting nothing but great praise throughout. So I'm like, there's no way that it's not putting up really good numbers. There's
only like a handful of morons that didn't like it, and I only call them morons because they're pains in the asses, not because they're actually morons.
Yeah, that's an offense to actual morons.
They're just being moronic. They're not being they're hating it not because they dislike watching it. That's different. They hate it because it exists and not because of it, the content of what they're watching. Is basically what
I'm also say this. What I've also noticed too is a lot of you people that hate on shows, I'm noticing a lot of your hate sounds very familiar to a lot of big names that hate shit. And I kind of feel like you're just copying and pasting. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, lazy with it. What am I to believe when you tell me you don't know much about it, but you hated it? So how did you hate something you knew nothing about? Now that's different. Now, if you come out of a show and you just go, man, the writing was poor, or I didn't like some of the CGI, that's fine. Anyone with a brain could form that opinion. But to say the show was bad and you don't even know anything about the characters, that don't add up. that don't add up at all. Sorry guys out there, but to hate something, you got to actually have a reason to dislike it. To just not like it, it sounds like you're just trying to cause problems. Right. So don't be that person. If you don't like it, again, you don't even have to defend why you don't like it. That's your business, but don't just be one of those negative Nancys that will go on a post of someone hyping a show and then you're the person that's like, no, it was garbage. Why did you bring that here? We're celebrating it. Why couldn't you take that somewhere else?
Yeah, don't be a dick. Don't rain on our parade.
No, like, bro, I liked it. Why can't I talk with other people who liked it? Why did you have to come here and say you hated it? That's what I don't.
Yeah, like that's the thing. If it's something negative, you didn't like it, you can say, look, it wasn't really for me, and move on. And some people do that. Don't get me wrong, there are people that do that, but not enough people do it.
Now, we'll say this. You have the right to defend yourself if you say, hey, I just didn't like it. And someone goes, well, what didn't you like about it? Well, you've now opened the door. But if you say, hey, I don't like it, and they leave it at that, and then you feel the need to expand,
yeah.
don't. Because I can tell you right now, we have no interest in hearing None.
Most of the
We
time.
don't like negative just to be negative.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. I heard a rumor about the Kenobi series, Joel. If you're interested in it,
Did you hear a murmur?
a murmur. Yes, they were murmuring.
Okay.
A rumor, because I hate Joel. And that rumor was that the series apparently is about young Leia
Excuse
getting
me?
into a bunch of like young Leia, like same age you know Luke to be in the series.
I get that.
Um, she gets into some trouble, gets captured, and her adopted father, Mr. Organa himself,
Fail.
seeks
really like that
out
one.
seeks out Obi-Wan's help to go find her. And in finding and rescuing her is when he comes across.
Did he get kidnapped or something?
So she went to go do something she shouldn't be doing, and got captured. But it wasn't like someone went and abducted her, is what I'm saying.
Right.
She just stuck her nose in stuff she shouldn't have and got captured. And Obi-Wan goes to rescue her. So I'm hearing we will have a young Leia. We will have an on-screen young Luke. But clearly, as we all should know, they will not meet each other in the course of this series.
They will not. Yeah, obviously.
Me and AJ were actually talking about this last Friday. For anyone who does not know, this is not for you, Joel, because I know you know. The whole reason why the two of them can never be together is that they are too strong in the Force. And for those two Force-sensitive beings to be together, there's no way Vader would miss that. No fucking way Vader would miss that. Obi-Wan, being a trained Jedi, can mask the Force. They're too young. They radiate it. So Vader would snuff that out in a second and just like, oh, there's my kids. All right, murdered Luke. Not Luke, I'm sorry, Uncle Owen. Bringing my kids home. So yeah, so that's why those two at that time could never be together. What else? So yes, so and obviously we said it before, Vader is supposed to be very murderous, very bloodthirsty. I loved the sound of that. That was peak Vader, bro.
Yeah, I was down for like flippy Vader. I know a lot of people were not feeling that, but I don't know, it made me happy.
It all depends. I just don't ever need to see Vader kick. That was my only issue. Like flying,
I like that he can, you know.
He's not supposed to be able to, though. Is the thing.
Why? He can walk. Why can't he kick?
No. I said flying kicks and shit.
Oh,
like if he's Spartan kicking somebody,
why can't he kick?
If he's
part of the move,
if he's Spartan kicking somebody, I have no problem with that.
Yeah. So
but like acrobatics and shit like that, like the man has no legs.
No,
he has robotics.
He has legs though. So like,
I'm like, it shouldn't be that accessible to be able to be that flippant. Like, I know that's not the right word, but to be that athletic with robotic limbs, like, no, that's way too much. I don't need to suspend my.
I like the idea that he's not a stiff, is what I'm trying to say.
No, and I told you before, I get you. Vader's very much like those. My upper body is strong as shit. My lower body, I don't work. He's very much that guy. Like, I can jump. Yeah, but that's really about it. That's all I got in my pocket. But no, I'm very excited to see this Vader, and apparently he's in majority of these episodes. So I like that, and I can't wait to see how this plays out, man, because as far as we knew, they only saw each other once, and now they're telling us they're going to see each other 3 times,
and they're gonna fight more, like, again, which is
right.
Like,
it's going to be real interesting that they fight and Vader doesn't try to find him.
We gotta see why that's the case.
That's what I'm saying. That's going to be really interesting. And I even heard a rumor. I don't really believe this because that to me is just too many pieces you'd have to kind of figure out. But apparently, one of the rumors is Vader steps foot on Tatooine. That complicates things for me. I don't like the idea of that. I don't like the idea.
Him going back to Tatooine, where he's from. But he probably like Sanders course and all that shit, so he doesn't like going there. It gets in his gears,
bro. You know what?
Like, once in a while.
I was rereading the Vader comics, and there was this one dope part, Joel, where Palpatine sends Vader on a mission that Vader denies, and he goes, "I want a place of my own." in the first place, Sidious, Sidious rather, because he's not Palpatine anymore. Sidious suggests to him is, what if I give you your home of Tatooine? And he goes, no, I don't. He's like, yeah, I don't want Tatooine. And then Sidious is like, well, where do you want? And he goes, I want Mustafar. And Sidious is like,
the Sith home?
Right then. Yeah, he's like, all right, yeah, fuck it. You want Mustafar? Have Mustafar. Shit, it's weird, but all right. Like, if you want to lay your head in the place that you became this, no problem. No problem, sir. We'll set you right up.
Good memories.
Right? He's like, there's very good memories here. I like it. The Boys had an animated series that's coming out next month. I like that it follows the same guidelines as that Star Wars show, where it's not all one animation. It's each episode looks like it's probably in different animation style.
Yeah, that is cool.
I like that a lot, especially for something as wild as that.
Wild.
And it's going to be wild. Face is being smashed in, like, and I like this Homelander. This is a brand new Homeland, like when he first started, where he's behind the ears.
Yeah. Yes. I was gonna say that. Wet behind the ears.
Yeah,
that was exactly what I was gonna say.
Because there was that one scene where he was trying to calm the guy down, and he wouldn't calm down, and he killed him. He was just like, "I tried." Like, I tried. I tried to tell you shut the fuck up. You wouldn't shut.
When we get the origins of his obsession with the I mean, we know already, but like, will they address the whole mother's milk thing?
Yes. Well, wait. No, isn't the character's name Mother's Milk?
No, the character's name is Mother's Milk, but that's what it's chicken to. It's like titty milk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm like, wait, there is a Mother's Milk.
Yeah, there is a Mother's Milk. Okay, but I'm talking about like Homelander's
his obsession of drinking breast milk.
Yeah. His breast milk thing.
Yeah, I mean, they have to. I mean, obviously, we know it's a disconnect of not having a parent, really. But yeah, I'm with you. I would like to know that. And if it's not in this, then I would, I don't need it, but I wouldn't mind it being a flashback in the new season, where you kind of dig a little bit deeper into his character. I wouldn't mind that at all. I wouldn't have any problem with that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so that looked awesome. Oh my God, I turned on TNT and Justice League is on.
Oh.
I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, you guys do know, like, we don't fuck with this movie, right? Like,
not that one.
Not this one. We don't. No.
We pretend it does not exist.
It doesn't.
This never happened.
Yeah, seeing it right now is so confusing because I'm like, this never happened. When did this come out?
Alternate cut. That's the alternate cut.
That's the alternate cut. Right. Yeah. That's the one that didn't make theaters. Yeah. That's funny because it's like no fucking way we sat in the theater for 4 hours to watch. Yeah,
that would have been a fucking trip, bro. 4 hours? You needed like a break.
No way, bro. No.
Go to the bathroom. Go get a drink.
Bro, me and Joel could fall asleep in an hour and a half movie. 4 hours? Even if it's good. 4 hours?
Well, an hour and a half. Give me a half hour if it's like if I'm tired, bro. Done.
Oh man, Joel had to nudge me a few times today. He had to nudge me a few times today.
Yeah, and he liked the movie. So
I love the movie. And it's funny because remember you did okay, quick story time. I always love to give you guys a quick story time because me and Joel's Avengers are hilarious. So we go to see Godzilla King of Monsters, right? And we're watching it, and then it gets to like the really good fucking part, and I'm out. I mean, I'm out. Joel wakes me up. I finished the rest of the movie, and I remember saying to Joel, like, bro, I love this movie. Like, this was so good. And you go, motherfucker, you were asleep for half of it. What are you talking about? You love this movie. You love the parts you saw. And I was like, oh, damn, you didn't have to call me out. Yeah, that's true, though. I had to wait till it came out on streaming to see that middle part that I was asleep during. I was like, damn, that was a really good part.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I was out, man. I was gone, bro. I was gone. XOX, I was done. All right. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any other major news. We don't need to talk about the Thor things. I feel like we did that before.
Yeah, no, we can leave it for another day. Hopefully the trailer is soon. We can
talk about I was about to say, yeah, when we get more information. I do like that the Batman is ramping up. They've already started their press tour.
Next week. We'll be there next week, bro.
Huh?
It's next week.
Oh, right. I completely forgot. Wait. No, it's
Yeah.
not next week.
Next week. It's a short month, remember?
It is the 28th. Yeah. So shit, next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday is our first glimpse, and then we'll get it again Thursday. So double dose next week. But
I don't think I'm ready, Joel.
Bro, what's today? Today's Monday?
Monday, yeah.
All right, so this time next week, we'll be preparing to watch Batman.
Bro,
The next day.
Ready. I don't think I'm ready.
Are you ready? No, I just said I'm not ready.
I'm ready when you are.
No, you're not. Shut up.
Mind your goddamn business, Alexa. No one's talking to you. Shut up.
Between the fucking Alexa and my TV, they're both like, no one talking to you. Stop listening to me.
I did want to talk a little bit about this because me and you both enjoyed it. The 1 minute gameplay of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
I mean, we've seen it, but now that they add, like, the newest thing was that Splinter's playables. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, I really want to play this game. Right. I went to an arcade place the other day. And I was just playing old. You play like a flat fee for like an hour, and you can play all the arcades for like free. I'm like, oh, this is the shit. Like old games, and I love the old like Ninja Turtle platform games, and this plays just like it. So I'm like, I need it. That's something. I wish I didn't have other games I had to play.
I went to a place called Barcade that was like that.
Yeah, it was like that. But the one I went to was called Yestercade. I went in Westfield.
That's the one I went to. Sorry, that's the one I went to. Yeah, and it's cheap. It's very cheap too.
Yeah, it's like $10 for an hour.
And it's BYOB.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yep.
I'm like, this is the shit. And you can play any game, not just arcade. You can play games like
Super Nintendo,
PS5, the new Xbox, any of that, all of that new shit.
And they have so many games. So many damn games. I did see the trailer for the new Constantine House of Mystery. I will say I was a little disappointed. I thought it was going to be connected to the new DC animated world, but apparently it's a one-off.
Apparently, I mean, I watched it. Did it not reference the last animated universe?
It did. This is the fallout from that, because it's like Doctor Strange. He's being punished. These are the consequences of doing that. Even though I didn't think
that universe, like I thought it was over. Like
I was hoping it was over. I embraced this new universe, and now you're trying to make me move backwards. And I'm like,
the animation has changed. Like the animation has changed.
That's why I thought it was part of the new world. And then when you see it, you're like, oh, it's not. That's weird. Why are we making standalones?
Unless it's a transition, one thing. You know what I mean?
Look, let's be honest. When we saw Flash, and we saw how it ended, we didn't connect those dots until the end of that, and it was like, oh my God, okay. Yeah. Wow. All right. So this could exactly be that. For sure. Anything else? John Watts is rumored to be directing at least one episode of mysterious new Star Wars series. I would get excited if the headline was he was directing a full series, like a show he had come up with. I would be more excited. But just one episode, I'm like, well, hopefully that gets him in the mindset of wanting to do something in Star Wars. Right. So that's more so where my excitement is, more so than him actually just directing an episode.
That's kind of what excites me about that thing Zack Snyder's doing with Rebel Moon. Yeah, because that came off of an idea he had for Star Wars that they didn't want to do. That he's like, I'll do it my own self on Netflix. I'm like, well, that sounds fucking incredible. Like, just do that.
Yeah, it looks good. From the promo art that we
it does look fun. It does. I can't wait to know more. Huh?
No, what do you call that? Because he released what it looks like, but it's like drawings, like
concept art.
Concept art. Thank you. Concept art. Yeah. And he has a great cast so far, like a really, really, really good cast. So.
It looks good. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it. So, yeah, that's cool. I do look forward to that because I think he's referencing, what's it called? Seven Samurai, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Again, because he did that with Justice League when they only 6. But he's doing it again, so that is definitely a nice reference. again. Callback.
Can't wait. Matt Reeves is saying if the Batman is a hit, like we all know it will be, we don't even need to jinx it. We know it will be. But he's saying if it is, he is planning a Catwoman series.
I think we've heard rumors that they've already.
Right.
I mean, obviously he let it out the bag before, but even before that we heard that they were talking about it. So I think if Penguin got a show, then she should definitely get a show.
100%. Now, let me say what I love about this. What I love about, because I know a lot of people are like, why do they need series, blah, blah, blah. What I love about it is the same thing I was hoping the MCU would kind of transition into a lot earlier before now when like some of our favorites are gone. I like the concept of what are they doing when there isn't this major catastrophe happening? Right. What is Catwoman's every day, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that like a one of those documentary series like Real Housewives or shit like that. But what trouble does she get in when there isn't a bat that could just randomly pop up and stop her all the time? Like, what is she doing? Because I know a lot of people, when they're promoting the Batman, they keep saying she's his villain. But I'm like, I don't think they're going to portray it that way. I think he's going to make it very clear there's lines he won't cross. And she's going to make it clear she'll cross whatever fucking line she needs to get the job done. And that's where they part ways. But it's not like he doesn't view her like Riddler, Joker, Mr. Free. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, she's never that. So if she's not a bad guy, but she's like an anti-hero kind of like riding that line.
Yeah, like she is. Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, I like that even for Penguin. I just said my only stress about doing these characters in a series is Gotham just did it, right? So how can you differentiate yourself drastically from what they just did? From a story standpoint, visual standpoint, everything. So that's why I'm very excited for these characters to get their own series. Do I need it? No, of course not. But I can say that about a lot of shit that's happening.
But he's world building right now. So
right.
He gets his own movie. He has the Batman movie. We have the first thing we heard about was the GCPD show, which will probably be led by Gordon, right? So Gordon has his own show. Penguin now will have his own show. Catwoman will probably have her own show. They probably won't do a Riddler show because he'll be the focus in this movie, right? The villain focus, at least, right? So maybe going forward, that's how he fleshes out the rest of his world. It's like major supporting characters get their own series to expand upon theirs, and that's how the world is. And like you sprinkle in Batman if you can, throughout.
Right, and he's gonna have a lot of Easter eggs. So missing these shows would not be something I suggest, because again, it connects. So, and also remember this is HBO Max. Robert Pattinson could appear in any of these. Not saying he will, but he could.
At this point, why count it out? I mean, we just got the Justice League and Peacemaker.
That's what I'm saying. And remember, it's a deeper connection because Reeves brought him in, right? Like James Gunn doesn't have a connection with those characters, those actors and characters. That was just one of those, can you do me a favor? And it's like, hell yeah. For Matt Reeves, you brought Robert Pattinson in. So Robert Pattinson's more willing to buy in to whatever Matt Reeves is selling because they have that connection. So I'm like, he could talk him into an episode, just one episode, show up in Catwoman. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I'm very interested to see what they do with these series and how much of a world building they go through. And look, Robert Pattinson doing his whole press was talking about the fact that he wants a Robin. Doesn't want an older Robin. He wants a younger Robin. And I appreciated that. He went a lot younger than I needed him to go. He was 13. Like 13. I was like, oh, 13. Yeah. No, we wanted to get away from that. Like, 16 is good. 16 is a perfect age for Robert Pattinson's 30-year-old Batman to have. That's a perfect age. Wow. That way, there doesn't have to be that much room between his years as Robin before he chooses he wants to be his own man. So I'm like, you don't have to go through that long period and 4 years later kind of shit. He's 16. He can be Robin until he's about 18, 19 before it kind of becomes like, I could maybe be doing this shit on my own. I don't really need Bruce. And then he wants to become Nightwing. And then you do whatever you want to do with that. Because me and you both know by the time he gets to 22, 23, he should be progressing himself, and you should already be prepared to bring in a new Robin.
If you go that far, yeah.
Right. If you go, but I mean, if he's world building like he's saying he is, we imagine, Joel, the most fleshed out Bat family we'll ever see in live action will probably come from Matt Reeves.
I don't know. We might get more of a Bat family in the regular DCU. Looks like.
Really?
But yeah. I mean, we're gonna probably get Batgirl, Nightwing, and they may even touch on Red Hood. We don't know. In the DCU. At the very least, we might just get a Robin in Matt Reeves' universe, and I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm very intrigued because, like I said, to me, I just don't want the same thing. So I want one to decide they want to do it, and then the other one just says, I'm good with just Batgirl and Nightwing, right? I'm fine with that. Especially with Michael Keaton being the age that he is, I don't really necessarily need him bringing on younger Robins. You know what I'm saying?
I don't expect him to have more Robins.
Right. So I'm saying if he just has Dick Grayson and Barbara, I'm fine with that. That's perfect.
Right. That's his thing.
That's essentially, obviously, minus Tim, what the animated series was for the longest time was Bruce and Dick, and then Bruce, Dick, and Barbara, and then Bruce, Dick, Barbara, and Tim. So I'm like, if you want to go that far, fine. But I really want Matt Reeves, because I'm like, Under the Red Hood would be crazy in the visual world that Matt Reeves is creating.
Mm-hmm.
Think how brutal Jason would be in that world. Excuse me. So I'm like, yeah. Go ahead.
It depends how deep that movie universe goes, because
right.
At the moment you want to like flesh out more villains. Like I think that'd be interesting to get an actual rogues gallery. The way that we know it would be cool. Like and there's so many characters to dive into, and I know he wants to get into their psyche, so that's really cool. So that's like so fun. The Batman villains are so fun to like try to break down because they're fucking nuts.
They are really fucking nuts, but it helps that Batman is equally nuts. What did Michael Keaton say? You want to get nuts?
Come on, let's get
I think that's really it, Joel. We didn't have a whole bunch. Our shows are starting to come back this week, so that helps a lot. We've already talked Doctor Strange.
That's it for me. I mean, do you want to do the top 5 thing real quick?
Oh, yeah. I want to end on that. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So Joel had this awesome idea on top 5. Shit. Now I got to look it up. Where is it?
Yeah. Top 5, basically, most anticipated castings that we feel might break the internet once they're casted, more or less.
So we're naming the characters. We're not going to necessarily fan cast the characters for you guys. We're just going to name the characters we think would break the internet.
Right.
I'm going to start. So my number one overall draft pick goes to Victor Von Doom.
He was definitely a thought in my head. When that happens, it will break the internet.
And look, and that mainly depends. Like, I'm not putting it all on Victor Von Doom. I think because Marvel has such an impeccable track record, the character won't matter as much as who they cast. Like if you cast a massive name, obviously people are gonna care about Victor Von Doom, but that name is what will really propel that character into, like, Moon Knight. If they had used anyone else, we would have been excited for Moon Knight, just Moon Knight. But you bringing Oscar Isaac in takes Moon Knight to crazy levels. So Victor Von Doom is my numero uno. What's your number 2 pick?
Number 2 pick? Well, one of my picks, I think I did this a couple times, but really just I'm thinking once we finally get a decision on Green Lantern, which is Hal Jordan or John Stewart, either one of those two will break the internet.
Mainly because people will go, "Oh my God, I forgot that you promised us a fucking Green Lantern movie all those years ago."
Right, there's a Green Lantern movie again. Didn't you learn your lesson?
Like, finally, jeez. No, I'm with you. Both. Let's group it. Both.
Yeah.
Both will break the internet. Even though I do kind of feel if they stay on par with what they were saying before, and you want a younger Jon Stewart, I think your Hal Jordan is what will break the internet. And I think whoever that young up and coming actor you get for Jon Stewart, I think that will be the big break of his career.
Yeah.
Like it's what will launch them into stardom. Being alongside that massive name is Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan.
Yeah,
there's gonna be a lot of bitching when that happens. So it'll be fun.
God. Oh, a lot. From people who've never uttered a word about Green Lantern before then. They're gonna, oh my God, I don't like it.
No.
Right. My next pick, I am going with no, I'll wait in case that was one of your picks. I'll wait to say that at the end. So I'm gonna just go Wolverine.
That's one of my picks, easily.
Yeah, Wolverine for sure will break the internet.
The recasting of Wolverine, yes.
Right. And it'll break the internet. I can already feel right now, not for good reasons.
Never will, but it definitely will. The sky will be falling that day, and I can't wait. Like,
I can't wait to just say no social media. No, I can't handle that shit. No social media.
Yeah, Wolverine.
And I try to remind people all the time, bro, the MCU started with people you were either faintly or not recognized at all. Like no one knew Chris Hemsworth, no one knew Tom Holland, no one knew Tom Hiddleston. People barely knew Brie Larson, even though she won an Oscar. So I'm like, the MCU is chock full of people you did not know beforehand.
What?
And they turned out to all be your fan favorites. So I'm like, what is the issue here? What are we still talking about 14, 15 years later? Can you not just let it let it develop? And then if you see it and you don't like it, by all means, you have that right. But to hate it off just an announcement, you're going to let them suit up first, see if you maybe like it? Annoying. All right. So Wolverine, all right, you're next. I'm going to let you do the last two. You're next.
Well, both of them. Yep. I think the Fantastic Four. All four of them.
All four of them?
Yeah. The internet will break once we get to four. The main four.
I'll say this. If it's John Krasinski, let's say John Krasinski is in Doctor Strange. I don't think that'll break the internet, mainly because it's now in people's mindsets that he is going to be Reed Richards. I think what'll break the internet is if he is not Reed Richards, because then people will have a humongous shit fit. They won't even give anyone else in that lineup a chance because they're so butthurt they didn't get John Krasinski. So I'm with you. Finally getting the Fantastic Four and not having to worry about it anymore. Will 100% right. Will 100% break the internet. But I think more so that Mr. Fantastic casting, especially if it's not John.
Yeah, that's why that one's so important. But then those that follow, of course, will be very big too. Next one, geez. I say Miles when they finally cast Miles Morales live action. That's gonna be big. That's gonna be a huge casting. So Miles Spider-Man will break the internet when officially. We don't know who it's gonna be, and it's probably not gonna be a big name. But
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, but it's gonna be everywhere, and there'll probably be some bitching and moaning, just because that's what we do. If he's not dark enough, or he's not this or that, it's always gonna be something. Right. So can't wait to hear bitching.
I said it before, and I know you disagreed on it. I said I would just rather just full Hispanic. But I agree with you. It's lazy because then that means you don't want to do the homework to find someone who's half black, half Hispanic. I'm with you there. But to me, representation is super important. And I don't feel like we have enough Hispanic characters. So I'm like, just highlighting Miles Morales as just a pure Hispanic would be awesome. But to me,
too much to the.
Say it again.
I think he means too much to the black community to do that. So you would have
to.
I do believe he means a lot to a lot of black kids out there. I do.
Oh yes, after the animated movie, yes, 100%, 100%. I'm thinking in totality, but yes, after that animated movie, yes, they saw.
It would be nice if people recognize that he's not just black.
But that's not a problem. That's why I said I would rather him just be full Hispanic in live action, because when you look at the drawings of Miles, you would never, unless you read it and see that his mom is speaking Spanish to him, or the animated movie where it's clear that his mom was Hispanic.
Well, nothing makes less sense than the fact that he uses his mother's last name and not his father's. Were they not married?
Look, I always say this. I have my mother's last name. So yeah. I'm like, it happens. It might not be common, but it happens. I have my mother's last name. I just don't know how that happened. That's something you gotta ask my dad, but I have my mother's last name. What was I gonna say? So yeah, so when you look at him, he just looks black. You look at him, you just go, oh, he's black.
Dark, he's right. Dark. That's the point.
So that's what I'm saying. To make him full Hispanic, I think would be really cool. Because kids wouldn't know the difference anyway. He obviously wouldn't be as dark as he's drawn. But they probably wouldn't know the difference anyway. They wouldn't know the difference anyway. Yeah, no, I completely agree with your list. I would also say Magneto. Because if Kevin Feige is brave enough to actually cast outside of what everyone's hoping that he actually casts within, that's going to cause a massive stir. A massive.
That goes for both of them, Xavier and Magneto.
Right, yeah. Group them together.
It really depends on, is MCU Xavier going to be the same Xavier, or is it going to be a new Xavier altogether? That's a big question in its own self. And of course, that with Xavier comes Magneto. So you're like, they play off each other. They're not that they're it's not a symbiotic relationship, but they are very much a part of their life, each other's lives.
1,000%. So you can't have one without the other.
It's almost like they're a plus minus. Like they are always connected, though they are polar opposites in certain aspects.
Yes, I view those two the same way I always tell people that's like, I don't always need to see a Joker in any Batman movies. I always say I will never agree to that, because those two always should share some kind of screen time in any capacity. If you don't want them to be the main villain, fine. I'm not here to argue that down. But those characters mean too much to each other for you to have a full trilogy and never touch on the Joker. I don't think that should ever be the case. And we've never seen it to be the case. Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Jared Leto, and then whatever they do with Robert Pattinson's Batman. So I'm like, they've never done it then. No need to start now. So Charles and Eric 100% should always be together. Whether they start together or they end together, they should always be together. There should never be a trilogy of X-Men movies where there's no Magneto. Like, I don't even like how that sounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, that sounds stupid.
Even when the X-Men had their own side of the universe with the Fox universe, I'm like, if they're really going to world build, they should have done a Brotherhood movie. The Brotherhood should have had their own movie.
I agree. I completely agree. And I think they could have done X-Men First Class differently, to where you just focus on the OG X-Men, and then you did a Brotherhood movie, and then you did When the Worlds Collide. Mm-hmm. Simple. And I think those movies would have done a lot better than what they ended up turning out.
Yeah, there was so much to build off of.
But to me, that's the best way to do it. And look, Joel said this years ago, give him his credit. Fantastic Four don't have to have Doom in that first movie. Doom, honestly, if you wanted to, could have his own movie, his own series, whatever you want to do, and then just merge them. So I appreciate that.
He doesn't have to exist because of them. That's the thing I don't like. He is his own character. He doesn't need to be there constantly. You know what I mean? Right. Because he's associated with them. Yes, you want to see them cross over, like Black Adam and Shazam. But even more so, Dr. Doom and the Fantastic Four that's their main villain, right?
Right.
But he's so much a Marvel villain that he can show up on so many different other places and you wouldn't blink an eye. You know what I mean? Whereas Black Adam is a little harder. They're doing something very different with that character. But
right, you're equating Doom to Slade. We know him for Titans, but he does bounce around DC. Like, right. He can pop up in a Batman comic. He can pop up in Slade versus the Justice League, where he had that powerful ass sword he was using. You can just use him in different ways, but at the end of the day, don't give me 3 Titans movies that don't have Slade anywhere in them.
Right.
Because that is just like, are you trying? Like and again, we're not going down this road, but it's like what Titans is doing. Like you're trying your best to piss us off by not having Cyborg there. Like that's a conscious decision you're making.
Yeah. You sat there and said, "Nah, we can't do that." Like, you can't do that. Actually, I would not be there for that meeting.
Bro, I just had this
that
conversation with my brother's girlfriend, right? Where I was trying to explain to her that Cyborg is supposed to be a Titan. And she goes, no. For as long as I remember, he's always been in the Justice League. And I was like,
yeah. So you only remember up to like, what year was it? 20?
2000 and what? 10, 11? It wasn't beyond that. It wasn't past that. Yeah. So she's like, no, the cartoons and everything. I'm like,
no. Unless you watch the Super Friends, but even then, it wasn't like.
I'm like, because what I was trying to explain to her was Cyborg had replaced Martian Manhunter.
Yes.
So I'm like, no. That's how I know he wasn't always part of the Justice League, because Martian Manhunter was there. And then they just went, all right, Martian Manhunter, in your off time, you play a black guy.
2017, it came out.
2017. In your off time, you're a black guy, but we want to add in another black guy, and we can't have 2. So you got to get the fuck out of here. And he's like, wait, I can be anything else. No. You
only one black guy, and it's the tech guy, because there's a new. Oh, shut up. And look, Cyborg is a member of the Justice League because of Jeff Johns. Mr. Right. Everyone that hates Jeff Johns, he's the reason that there's Cyborgs in the Justice League.
That's the only reason you should hate Jeff Johns for. That's the only reason.
That's the only reason.
That's the only reason. You should. If I ever got to interview him, I would have a very nice interview and then end it with, Jeff Johns, we had a great talk, but I have to say,
what goes behind the decision making? Right. I would love to be there for that. Why did you separate? Cyborg?
I'm like, because now you made it a cool thing that everybody's doing. You know what I'm saying? Like now everyone's just like, it is fun to make Cyborg.
But maybe Ray Fisher might save Cyborg's life indirectly by screwing up his relationship so much that they leave Cyborg out of the Justice League and they just by de facto put him back with the Titans to save his reputation.
Look, as soon as he started causing chaos and they announced Jaime, I said, oh, the skies are opening. It's happening. Like, it's happening. They're listening to me and Joel. Me and Joel have been screaming, Jaime makes more sense of joining the Justice League.
I always said Jaime should have been. If you're going to replace, I had so many different scenarios. Like, who would I replace Martian Manhunter with other than Cyborg? Because I'm like, I wouldn't have taken Cyborg out of the Titans. That's I've always said that.
Because I'm like, the Titans never even replaced their tech guy.
Right. Then they just kind of ignored it.
They just were like, I don't really need tech. I think I can type on this thing here.
I mean, there's so many different versions of the Titans. Like they kind of in the animated thing they put in Blue Beetle,
right?
Which would have been fine, but they never actually went through with it in the comic books. The comics had a whole bunch of weird characters, and it's just.
It was just the movie that they went with it like full bore on,
right?
And that was kind of it. Even in Young Justice, he's not a Teen Titan. He's
there
just
are no Teen Titans in that. No.
Right. So I'm like, he's just part of something else. So I'm like, you don't even explore it there where it would have made more sense for you to explore it. So yeah, put him in the Justice League, and who knows, maybe we're a step closer. Ray Fisher, keep talking. Please keep talking. Just talk yourself right out of the Justice League. So we can put you back in the Titans where it belongs. So we can make that popular again. And then maybe we can see it formulate in the actual Titan show. Fingers fucking crossed.
I mean, I on the surface level, obviously, we want whatever issues they have to be resolved in the first place, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Both sides don't seem to want to move.
I don't really care. I don't like him in the Justice League, and if that's my out, I'll take it. If that's my out,
I didn't ask for it, but if that's what we're going to do.
If that's the happy ending I get, by all means, I'll take it. I will take it. All right, that's all me and Joel got for you guys. You playing any new games? Or are you still with your
I haven't played actually Mike Ghost in a while. I've been playing a lot of Smash lately. But I've been playing with him Hades and shit like that. So I really play those 2 games I've been playing the most, and then I'll go back to Ghost soon. It's just I needed a break.
I'm focused on all of my pre-orders I was telling you about from that I had in December. The Doctor Strange figures that I had that I told you they fucked me up on. All those are coming in now. So I just got in the mail the GTA trilogy for the Switch. So I've been loving how good Vice City looks.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
You know, we were just talking about the Justice League.
Yes.
I think about it now. And I'm like, what if they did do it the right way, which is using the Green Lantern instead of Cyborg, and that the way they should have done it in the first place. And Ray Fisher was casted as John Stewart Green Lantern instead of Cyborg, and this happened. Oh my lord!
No, but that would have been an easy fix.
Well, yeah, you just bring in Hal or something.
Right. You bring John on, you bring Hal in, so you figure out what you want to do with John. Yeah, that's a very easy fix.
But then that's kind of like, then it would look even worse racially, like, you know what I mean? Because you can't just replace Cyborg with a white Cyborg.
Only reason why, and people would see it that way. You're absolutely right. But the only reason why
that's narratively, that's how they would push it.
The only reason why I would never see it like that is that we do know Hal spends time on Earth. So it would make sense that Oa, the Guardians rather, are telling Hal, hey, we got something we need John to do. You go replace him. You know what I'm saying? And Hal's there. You know, they could even make it like Hal was one of the original Justice League. You know what I'm saying?
He should have been. I mean, it bothered me so much that the Green Lantern has been left out of it. That people don't even know the character anymore. It's like, it's not right. All is wrong in the world. Like, it's not right. Because it's funny because there's a whole bunch of memes now where, like, you see the 4, and then they'll say expectations is all like 6 of them. I'm like, motherfucker, who had that? Who knew that much about the ending that they knew all 6 were gonna show up? First of all, not us, right? So the fact that we got 4 was actually a pleasant surprise. But my thing was the positive was like if there was obviously we know why Batman issue and then the Cyborg issue, but they kept Superman, right? That's a positive. The fact that Cavill
he looked just like Cavill.
And he did look like, so that's a positive.
I mean, it's just a shadow, but he looked just like Cavill.
Right, but same thing. Wonder Woman was a shadow, so it's like, but they kept those characters there, so that means the issue's not as big as we thought, maybe.
Right, and we know there isn't a Batman issue. It's just Flash is how we get the new Batman. So you couldn't have the new Batman.
Yeah, you don't want. Right, I understand the thought process there. So that's why I didn't really argue. And the same thing with Cyborg. We understand why he's not.
Right, and James is saying that was a company issue.
Right, the company decided to cut them
because they had filmed the whole Justice League.
Right, all 6 of them.
So that was the company going, no, fuck Ray Fisher. And then that was them going, well, continuity wise, it wouldn't make 100% sense. Because a lot of people don't even know what's going to happen with Ben's Batman. Does Barry just rewrite history to where it's Keaton's Batman, or does Ben's Batman die and then they just replace it with Keaton's Batman? So I'm like, you don't want to kind of muddy the waters.
Yeah, he will probably die, and they will replace him in continuity with the new Batman. That's probably exactly what's going to happen.
Right. So it's like, I don't need
at least there's a Batman and then the new continuity.
Right. I don't need to show you more Ben Affleck than necessary, even if it's a shadow. Just don't get it out of your head. He's gone. He's gone. Get out. So again, we're Batman fans, and we didn't have a problem not seeing Batman. That should let you know everything.
Because we understand we understand basically.
Right. Well, now if this was 5-6 years ago, and they did a cameo like this, and there was no Batman, then I'd be like, oh God, no.
Que pasa?
Why? Where is he? Like, where is he? Yeah. But
for all those people that had issues, I'm like, Justice League will never look complete without the Green Lantern. But that's my opinion.
I mean, I completely agree with you. Wasn't it Unite the 7, and then it turned to Unite the 6? So
it never became Unite the 6, but yes, it was Unite the 7, and then all of a sudden.
Right. So if that was your original concept, clearly you understand what the Justice League is supposed to be.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So
things fell through, obviously. Whatever.
Right.
Anyway, that was fun.
So I'm just focusing on GTA, my Doctor Strange stuff, my Doctor Strange, Wong, America Chavez, and my Dormammu should be here tomorrow. Been on
Nice.
pre-order since beginning of December. We're supposed to be here by mid-December.
Really?
Yeah. So I can't wait to see those beauties finally pop up in the mail. This did come in. Obviously, this isn't the show for it, but where is it? Because this is my favorite wrestler of today. You know who that is?
Why don't I recognize him?
Santos.
Oh, that's Santos Escobar. Jesus Christ, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, this is one of the original face sculpts before they got a lot better with the
he looked lighter than I thought. I'm like, it should be darker.
Yeah. But no, as Joel knows, I am a huge Santos Escobar fan. I think it's mainly I love everything about his charisma. I think he's everything. What's his name? Andrade never was. The swagger, the confidence, the star power. Like he has all of it.
What it comes down to, I think. It's true.
I don't think Andrade demanded the audience the way Santos does. Like he steals the screen every time he's in that ring. But yeah, I'm a huge Santos fan. The Elimination Chamber just really quickly was fucking horrible. Just like, goodness gracious. I see why people are just dying to leave WWE. You're on a carousel. The fact that WrestleMania is gonna be Ronda Rousey and Charlotte, when there's a million other female wrestlers out there that don't get a shot. We're getting Bianca and Becky Lynch, right? We're getting Roman and Brock, champion versus champion. So that's you telling SmackDown and Raw superstars, yeah, no, it's Brock and Roman. That's all I want. I just want to rotate it between Brock and Roman. That's it. That's all I want to do. I hate that. The one thing that will somewhat
not very creative, no.
Not creative at all. The one thing that might save WWE for me is apparently Cody Rhodes is on his way back home.
We'll see. The words. Hopefully, it's a surprise at WrestleMania. That would be nice.
Well, Edge tonight, I think, was propositioning someone to be his WrestleMania opponent. So I wouldn't mind Edge versus Cody Rhodes. But I will say this: I don't want Cody Rhodes to come back and he's feuding for the Intercontinental Championship.
No.
If you're not putting him in, if you're not making him WWE champion by the end of this year, I have no interest. I have little to no interest. I'm already watching Finn Balor get wasted every week. I will not do the same with Cody Rhodes. I just can't.
There's no way he comes in without having some type of creative freedom to be himself and I'll push. Or else, what's the fucking point?
Remember, he left because of that. Remember when they kept forcing him to be in the mask and shit all the time? He left.
No, they forced him to be fucking Stardust.
Yes. And I was just like, bro, my brother's Goldust. Is that not enough? Why do I have to be?
Why do I gotta be Stardust?
Yeah, like goodness gracious. But yeah, so I'm very curious to see what plays out in that. And I will say, as far as AEW, I'm loving CM Punk and MJF, I think is his name. I'm loving their rivalry a lot. A lot, especially CM Punk pulling out that photo of him taking a picture with young MJF. That was cold. That was cold-blooded.
That's funny. That was really
funny. Was cold-blooded. But outside of that, stay tuned, guys. I think we may not do Much Ado About Nothing on next Monday. We might wait and see how tired we are. If we're super tired, then we won't do it. We won't do it Tuesday. We'll do it some other day that week. We'll do it Wednesday. But if we're good, we'll do Much Ado About Nothing live and give our non-spoilers about the Batman. Our non-spoilers, and then we'll do our spoiler review maybe next Monday, maybe that following Monday. Give people that weekend to see it, because we'll already have given our non-spoiler thoughts. Just give people the time, because we'll have seen it Tuesday. Most people can't see it to Friday or Saturday or Sunday, so I don't want to do it so early and then it's like no one watches it because no one's seen it yet. So we'll figure it out. But stay tuned, guys. Hopefully we can figure it out tomorrow. And then do GVN talk sometime this week too. So stay tuned for that. I want to thank Joel. Had an awesome time today. Ended it with a podcast. We argued Giannis, but that's just me and you. That's what we do, man. So thank you, and we'll see you guys same time, same place next week. Till then.
Peace.